Hey, today we're going to discuss the origin of dissatisfaction. Your days, they're going to run out eventually. You can keep a log of them, like I've been doing with these little papers here. But if you keep the log in too physical a form, or you get stuck leafing back through that log, not gonna go anywhere. Gonna be living in the past, that old trite can of worms. So what you gotta do sometimes is just toss it out. Just get it out of your old itinerary, your old schedule, your old journal. Move ahead. But as you're moving ahead, what are you moving ahead towards? And what you're moving ahead towards is the origin of dissatisfaction. Because really, the best place to be is to be moving towards X, a variable, towards infinity and beyond. There's Ecclesiastes in the Bible, right? I don't know if everybody's familiar with that. Obviously, there are people of different faiths or different outlooks or different exposures even within the Christian or Jewish tradition that comes out of. But yeah, it's very whiny in a way. It's a guy, probably Solomon in this case, going, everything is vanity, everything's happened over and over again, and the things that you achieve, you might leave them to an idiot, and etc. But then he turns around and says something, I don't remember what. But the thing of it is why is this dissatisfying? It's because you want some kind of grand purpose. Solomon wanted some kind of grand purpose. And I think that the grand purpose is right here, right now. Obviously, though, you shouldn't get stuck in right here, right now, because then, again, you're in those old days that you need to kind of toss aside so you can continue writing. You keep them in your memory, but not as this kind of thing you're attached to. It's a thing that informs and instructs. It's kind of like if you do web design, you know about transparencies, or if you do any kind of graphics work with a computer, you can have a really solidly colored image, or you can have one that's transparent and kind of fades into the background. Let this, the old days, fade into the background so you can move ahead with the proper focus, right? So what's novel about this? Again, it just sounds like I'm repeating the same trite lessons. Well, first of all, some lessons are worth repeating, but my spin on it is this, is that the origin of dissatisfaction is looking for some kind of grand unifying purpose rather than living a grand unifying purpose, which really all lies in the realization that this is it, and you can fill the it with music and with poetry and with philosophy and with just tending towards things in a very attentive way, or just being kind of wild and celebrating life. You don't necessarily have to be kind of like a Renaissance man, craftsman type person, if that's not, but you have to live it. You have to enjoy it, infuse it with you, even if that's really blue and moody. One of the things that drives me crazy is everybody thinks that in order to be like a high-functioning member of society, you have to be content all the time. Well, that just depends on the situation you're in. Maybe it calls for being discontent, calls for some musing, calls for some lamenting, and you can take that in a positive direction. You can make negativity positive without being, like fake positive. There are certain painful things, death, war, disease, etc., besides all of the various states and disappointments that we get from just living life. But if you take those and maybe, like, you don't necessarily have to write like some kind of sad song, but at least take that deep into your soul and feel it and let it inform you as you move forward. Let it like be this kind of inner coloring of something that adds weight to your experience. And it's not meaningless. It's not something that's this nihilistic, oh, well, now you're just attaching meaning. No, no. It's inherent in the things that go on because they're going on. There's no like arguing with the fact that right now you're watching me waving my hands around and blabbering into a camera. It's happening. And behind this, there's a lot of other things happening in my head, other things happening in your head, and as a result of this interaction, something else will happen, but it will all happen along certain intelligible principles. And I mean, nihilism is self-defeating. It says that there is no meaning, and if there is no meaning, then the statement that there is no meaning is meaningless always kind of annoyed me. But anyway, you don't want to go too far one way or the other, too far towards, oh my gosh, I need this grand meaning, and there is a grand meaning, and I must, find it, and if I'm not finding it, I'm going to lament, and everything is vanity, or everything is meaningless, therefore everything is the same. And no, it's not. That's just the origin of dissatisfaction, some thoughts on what it is and how to overcome it. Hopefully this has been helpful. Just a brief little video I am doing because that idea was in my head, and I will probably try to explain it more eloquently as I go along. Thanks so much for coming on by here to Mellow Mission Productions, the umbrella kind of term that I use for a host of media and content that I create. You can find me on YouTube or on DTube. If you happen to be on either one, give me a thumbs up. Feel free to comment, negative or positive, whatever. It's all good, and see you later.